Aikido Club. I'd like to thank you all for coming. I know some of y'all came quite a ways. Got all the way from Galveston, all the way from Lake City to come out here to come play with us tonight. Ground rules basically, first of all, is to have fun. Hope you come out here, enjoy yourself, have a good time. The second ground rule is safety. Safety, safety. We've got a lot of people out here. The kata involves using weapons, including sticks, short clubs, some knives, rubber knives, but there's a lot of people, a lot of falls are going to take place. So I asked, at any time you're playing with any kind of weapon that's in your hand, don't twirl it, mess it around, or do funny things with it. You keep it tucked safely in your hand to your side when any instruction is going on, or if you're not involved. I hate theaters around too much, but if you're not involved in doing anything, make sure you have the stick either in your hand, or in this case a PVC pipe. Have it in your hand or tucked safely behind your arm, where should somebody else be falling while you're standing there, they're not going to get poked in the eye or hit or have any physical damage done to them. It's always a sign of a successful seminar if everybody goes home and nobody got hurt, especially when you have a lot of people out here. So number one is have fun. Number two is be safe. Okay?
Yes.
Third, we got two of my students are actually going to be doing the actual demonstration of the kata and the actual teaching per se. I might stick in every now and then, put my 2 cents in, or helping around, working with individuals. So they'll actually be running the class. I have Dr. Cleghorn, who 4th degree black belt in Aikido, 3rd black in Shindo Muso-ryu Jodo. I think that's all you rank in, student of life.
Yes.
And Dr. Richard Koppel, who's a Shodan in Aikido right now. So they'll be mainly demonstrating the techniques and doing most of the instructions for you tonight. If you have any questions, if you have any medical problems or any other injuries, feel free to come see me. I'll be around to see them. If there's any problems, one thing I want you to do again is to have fun and be safe. If you hurt, you strain something, you're not careful, you're not sure about taking a fall, don't take the fall. Okay? I'd rather you not take the fall to be safe than to put an arm out and hurt something. There are ways that we can do the techniques and escapes and things without actually doing some of the big throws that you'll see. So what we're going to have them do, first of all, are there any questions over anything? Okay. We do have some handouts for you. We'll hand them out maybe at the lunch break or even afterwards tonight. We've got 2 different versions of it for you. One has got all the names of the techniques on it. It's got everything all written out for you, and then it's got blank spaces to fill in your own notes about what you remember about it. The other one is the Reader's Digest condensed version that Dr. Cleghorn has written up for you. So what we're going to do first, we're going to have them demonstrate the kata for you. So I'll have it like everybody, what do you want, one side over here or 2 sides, this way, this way? The kata's going to be going this way. So
Kata's going to be going back and forth this way.
doing everybody on this side or split?
Split.
Okay. Half of y'all on this side over here and half of y'all over here. And just have a seat right along the edge. What they're going to do is actually physically demonstrate the kata before we get involved. You can see what you're getting yourself into. This kata was developed by Kenji Kamiki Sensei, who was the founder of this system of Aikido. He was already ranked as a 4th or 5th degree black belt in Judo under Dr. Kano, the founder of Judo. Kano sent him to learn some Aikido from Yoshiba. And from there he developed his system of Aikido, which is based on Judo principles of off balance and movement and those kind of things. So he developed this kata for the Judo players, for the Kodokan. A self-defense kata using Aikido techniques and Judo principles. That's the fun part about this. So you're getting a little bit of both martial arts combined into one. I'm going to have them demonstrate the kata for you, and then we'll get on into the teaching, and then at the end of the session, they'll demonstrate the entire kata one more time. So you can put it all together. The way to do it in a kata, there's 21 techniques in this kata, and we're going to be here about 6 hours. I think we average about 15 minutes per technique, I think is what we looked at it. I lost my train of thought. At any rate, have fun, watch the kata, and enjoy yourself. And if you have any questions at any time during the course of this kata, the course of the day, if you get tired, that's when injuries happen. If you get tired, sit down, take a break, relax. Okay? I'm not here to push anybody. I'm here to have everybody have a good time and to learn. All right. So without ado, Dr. Cleghorn, Dr. Koppel. Yes, sir. You're going to see him do the formalities. We're not going to worry about the formalities. We're just going to start right into the techniques where we actually do the learning.
Hands up. Hands up. Hands up.
All right, as you can see, there's a lot of work that's going to go into this today. Hope you got your memory buttons turned on. Do you have any questions before we start? Okay, well in that case, I'm going to turn the class over to Dr. Popple and Dr. Cleghorn, and they're all yours for the day. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's everybody. Nope. Get yourself a partner, preferably somebody relatively close to your own height and weight, things like that. There's an even person over here. We have one more that we need. I'd like to start with a couple of very basics. Some of the basic principles in this kata, and as by way of little warming up exercises, I would like one partner to put a hand on the gi here, and watch for a minute. The partner who's grabbing is going to push, and the partner who is being pushed, or pulled in this case, is going to move with that push or pull so that the pusher does not feel any resistance. The key to this is giving way off balance. It's a very Aikido, judo type thing. So I move with him. Just try this and then switch back and forth. Move with him so he can't feel, so you don't feel him pushing you. Very good. Now everybody now switch so the other person acts as uke. Okay, everybody, you get the hang of this where you don't feel any force being exerted when you're being pushed. What you're doing is you're picking up that initial key. Now we're going to do something slightly different. As he grabs, there are two basic grips. Let's see, why don't we get everybody sort of on that side so that they can see this. There are two basic grips that are going to come up several times in this. There's a Kudagaishi grip and a Kodamowashi grip. So what we like to do is that. Each time the thrower or tori is going to be moving his foot. This is going to be the grip on Kudagaishi. The thumb is going to go on the ring finger knuckle in the back of the hand. the fingers are going to go around the palm. On the mawash side of it, with the thumb is on the first finger, approximately, and the fingers go around the outside of the palm like this. Everybody try this now. And move your feet when you go back and forth. The left hand is the Kudagaishi grip, the right hand is the Kudamawashi grip. Third, you don't need a partner for. The opening technique that we're going to be doing involves an open hand sweep. This. Your hands will come out to the side like this. And you want to coordinate that. If the line of attack is along here, you're going to move off of that line one way or the other. Actually, we're going to have you moving left, but you always want to move off of that line. You don't want to go back straight. So just get used to this open hand thing with your fingers spread wide like this. Move your feet. This technique, this is the first of 4 close grab techniques. In this case, Uke is going to grab both hands. Obviously, he has in mind something like a knee in the groin. Something like that. That's why you want to move off of the line. So what you're going to do is you're going to step back into the corner like that. Now, one thing that you notice, we're going to walk around like this so you can see where this puts his hand. Right in that mawash grip. That's the first part of it. So see, open hand, but I've released one, and I've released one by moving back further away from this hand than he can maintain. Now, throughout these techniques, we are told to just a turn. Does everybody see this?
You can't see anything or any demonstration, there's little finger signals that you can get.
This is the fingers thing. Or
It's this way. If you want to go one way, do it this way. If you need to see it the other way, do it this way. If you need them to turn some way, tell them to turn at a different angle. All you gotta do is go catch your eye and they'll move for you.
yes. There is a key to many of these techniques is creating an off balance with Uke to which he will react. These first 4 are particularly important in that. What I'm going to do with this hand that I have broken is I'm going to strike his face. See, his head goes back. Ooh. This allows me to step back and get the arm bar. Let's go this way. One more time. Now the final part of this is the arm bar, a wakigatami arm bar. It's not the controlling arm bar that we use in Aikido, it's a different control. This time, I'm going to have my elbow on his elbow like this. The way our folks are used to doing it is we're controlling shoulders. This time we're controlling an elbow. And this is going to be a very typical arm bar for this particular kata. So the whole technique again is strike into the arm bar with a mawash grip out here at the side, the end. Let's try it. Yep. Okay, we want to again emphasize this business of the strikes really have to be a threat to uke. If they're not, it's not going to work. If for instance, he doesn't react, there's no threat. He's got a hand free, I've got a hand free, and we're back in some other fight. But if he does that, that gives me time to complete the technique. On the next technique, again you have a strike. This time, remember that push-pull exercise we did? This is the first of these. He's going to start out and he's going to push me backwards. I'm going to move with him, but I'm going to create a threat at the same time. So you see his head go back. Now, one other thing. Notice I don't go back straight. I don't go back like this because he's still in front of me. I want to stretch him down the line of his feet. So the next part of it happens like that. This is a throw down the line of the feet. It's an elevator drop uke. Back, mawash grip again. Underneath the elbow and down. The follow, notice I've got a mawash grip again. I lean on the shoulder. I put a knee down on the shoulder here. It's total control. Let's go at a different angle. Let's go to this. I'm not torquing on his wrist. I know at that point that I've got him. Ukes tap out on this. Ready for this fall that comes. Very rapidly. Yeah. This is the throw that everybody loves. For the people who haven't taken big falls, this is probably not a good time. We'll come around and work how you get around this without having to take this particular fall. It's an advanced fall. It's quite punishing. It's a dangerous fall. Again, this time he is going to reach across and pull me into him. And I'm going to go with him. Let's turn this way. I'm going to go with him. The next step of this is I am again going to create a reason for him to get out of the way.
The better ukes react, the easier this fall will be.
Yes. Just an uppercut. Because as he reacts to this uppercut, what's his reaction going to be? It's going to be to snap forward. And at that point, I'm going to disengage. We'll now do it 3 times so that everybody will have a feel of it. any questions? I mean, I have to take that fall. Okay. Now, for the ones who have not fallen, I know there are a couple of people who have not taken that fall. The thing that I want them to emphasize, these two people, is getting in here and locking here. And at this point, everything stops. Okay, let's go. And the thrower then can bend down like this, but I don't want the people who have not taken this fall before to start out on this one. The arm, when it comes around, is going to go in the crook of the elbow. The forearm will go into the crook of the elbow. Does everybody see this? Okay, let's get
Please be safe when you're throwing if you are taking the ball.
Please move to the center of the mat, away from the edges of the mat. Okay, the next one is an approach from behind. And what he's going to try to do, this time he's going to get away with it. So he's trying to get me and force me down. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to force him down like that. What we call an oshitayoshi. Once again, we create a diversion, this time by kicking at his knee. His knee kick is very important because it gets it if he does that. Now I do a motion which all of our Aikido folks will recognize, known as a first release. Right into this Wakigatami with the Toyamawashi armbar. Let's go, so. So, key point on this is when your arm's up like this, how do you get out of it? You step and turn. I'd like everybody to do this particular motion solo, just once or twice. Right arm up, weight on the left foot, and they're going to step out with the right, and turn all the way around. For the Aikido folks, this is a very classic first release motion. Step with the right foot, turn your foot. Good. Okay, let's try it with partners now. Let's see it one more time. Please. Kick. Again, the elbow to elbow. This is the arm lock. See, I have pretty good control of it. You will go anywhere I want him. Okay, let's give it a try. And move. Use the. You will find on this you will find on this that if you roll the arm over, it'll come right in. So I'm rolling this over. This will help greatly when you're getting the arm bar. Most people simply go over like this. They may not get it, but if you start with your hand on it, you can roll the arm over, and so the uke's elbow is pointed up now, roughly pointed out.
That's a very bad thing for my posture.
And breaks his posture and gives you the control you need. Thank you. Everybody's seen this, everybody's done it a couple of times. The one thing that is really important that I see a lot of folks having problems with is they are not keeping their posture on this. If I lose my posture, I get him over here like this, and I get like this, and he just knees into the back of my knee, he's got me. If I keep my posture, he tries the same thing. Yeah. Posture is it is the last thing you want to give up. You can give up progressively a number of other things if you know how to do it. But the posture is the thing that is going to kill you right off the bat if you give it up too early, or if you give it up at all.
This is true on every one of these too, not just
Every
this
one of these.
technique.
Every one of these techniques. And so, whenever you have a guy just down, if I'm over like this, I'm fixing for a big world of hurt. I want to be up so that my posture is good.
That way I feel.
If you don't, what can you do?
What?
You can bring it to the floor very easily.
Yeah, just really rapidly. Yeah. So, this satisfactory, drop your center, but keep your posture. Not this. It's a big key point on every one of these techniques. Next one, collar grab from behind. I'm going to punch him right here, and I'm going to block and punch. Two things are going to happen. One with each hand. I'm blocking.
Yeah. In fact, I really have no choice.
Okay. Blocking with this arm, and I'm punching simultaneously into his solar plexus. His reaction is pretty much like this, which gives me the time I need to complete that. Now, in the last one, we saw this business of rolling over the arm to turn it over. Same thing here. So let's go this way. I trap his arm. I can either trap it with my hand, I can help out with trapping it with my neck. But I want to trap here. And he's probably still hooked in my gi anyway. So anyway, he's in pretty bad shape. I've got this. Now I'm going to roll this over on top of his elbow, and just step back. And some people get carried to the floor on this. Formally, that is not necessary. On the next one, we're going to take the person to the floor. Does everybody see that? Did everybody see that? And we'll see it again.
One more.
We've got a
The thing that'll help you out in there is if you think of the hand that's coming up, if you wave to the crowd, get your hand all the way up, that will rotate his shoulder. You watch Dr. Playground when he does it. Boom. Now see his left hand when he brings it up, look at Dr. Popple's whole body starts to rotate. If you shorten that raise, this comes right here, where his body is going to have less of rotation. See where he's right here, nothing's happening. But as soon as his hand goes up even higher, the rotation happens. So wave to the crowd. If I'm teaching these self-defense camps, I tell everybody, wave to the crowd, draw attention, look at me. Teacher, bam, get that hand up.
This will hold true on the next one as well. Back like this, so I'm away from him, forcing him down. Our feet are, right now, they're practically at 90 degrees orientation.
Rotate.
If I rotate, that releases it. Okay? We want to demonstrate one thing. Some people have noted this. Where's let's turn. Now I turn the same way. I always turn the same way, no matter which hand he uses. And this then becomes a kidney punch. Very, very damaging. And a wonderful arm bar if I want it that way. So you always turn the same way. You don't try to guess which hand he's got or whatever. Just turn the same way. Okay. Anyway, we just want to point that out. It's not part of the kata, but it doesn't matter. Just boom. Same thing. Next one. Okay. I want to do two more, and then we'll take a 5 or 10 minute break. Before I start on this, we've got some judo folks in here. There are two ways of doing this technique. One is the formal kata way, and one is the way that Mr. Williams has developed over the years, teaches at self-defense camp, and has a number of practical advantages. So we're going to work on that one first, and then just demonstrate for the judo folks the other way, just so that they know that that is the way the kata express it, the people who are judging kata stuff. See. Okay, the elements of this. This one. Element one. The thing that I don't want to do is this. I want to put a little, just a tad of weight on him. Put these hands up. And bring that down. What he's trying to do is this choke. Before he gets there, I want to break it this way. Then, leaning back, I'll step back with my right foot, wave to the crowd again. This This is where my hand is going to come out. This is where his shoulder is going to come out. And then take him to the ground. This time, uke does end up on the ground. Now this raising the hand is very important. If I don't raise the hand, get a good grip, and I get here, and he's got this grip here, and I've got a gi burn all the way around my neck. This actually occurred in one of the NASA classes when the instructor asked me to do that attack. And he got underneath my arm and he had the total gi burn all the way around his neck. It's very sore. He did not raise his hand. All Tori has to do is raise the hand, and that creates the hole. Sir? Mr. Williams pointed out quite correctly that I have to turn my head.
You don't turn that head, you hang yourself in your chin. Even if you are raising the arm, you still hang yourself.
Thank you, sir. So, let's do one more on this one. Come right out. Now, for the sake of the judo people, where are let's see. Bill, why don't you guys get sort of, okay, I guess they can see. This time, I'm going to not raise the hand, but I am going to keep control of his shoulder. Like this as I go under. You go down just like that. Just fall down. You wind up in this position. We'll talk about this on the side if there are any questions. Okay, let's try.
Dr. Cleghorn made mention of the fact that when you're coming in, go ahead and give me the choke, other hand preferably, right here. To get this motion and to get him, to rock backwards. A lot of people are doing exactly what I just did, which is throw my center forward, my shoulders back like this. That's not a rock backwards. That doesn't do anything to his feet. What I want to do is get my whole body rocking backwards. Now he's got to hold me up. Okay? If I do that, then the theory takes hold, which is as long as his feet are moving, his hands can't be strong. But if I do this, and I just lean backwards with my shoulders, he can, go ahead and get strong. He can do this, and I'm going to have a hard time with this, pulling this hand down. But if I get him to move his feet, guess what? All of a sudden things take place. So I want to move as a unit out of it. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Okay, last one in this section, then we're going to get into other things after a short break. For this one, before we get going, we're going to have 4 groups over on this side, 4 groups, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side, and people are going to be throwing to the middle. We want to do this very, very carefully. This involves throwing uke a considerable distance. elements of this. We had some discussion last year, for those of you who were here. Is this arm straight or bent? This year it's bent, last year it was straight. Drop the center. Again, I don't want to be going forward on this. I want to drop the center, and if anything, rock him backwards. Notice already the hands have been broken. That has something to do with the fact that he's got a long ways to go when he's dealing with me. Just kidding. Drop the center. Left hand locks onto the right wrist the same way at the time this one comes up. Vertical. Now the left foot is going to pivot around. And Uke is going to take a roll out of this. If he knows how to come up, that's fine. If not, just stay down. I prefer that really people stay down. People seem to hurt knees and things when they come up more. Don't do a lot of resistance on this. This one can be very, very dangerous on the shoulder. This can break, this can rip your shoulder out if you resist it. If Tori doesn't have it quite right, and that's going to happen the first few times, you can really cause injury. So Uke has to be sensitive. Go with it, let go something. But don't hang on if things go down the tubes, because you will get hurt. One more time. Another point, notice that as I turn, my hands stay in my center. As I turn on this, as I pivot, the hands are going to stay in the center. Basic principle. Footwork. Boom. Step out. Okay, let's give it a try. Get 4 groups over here, 4 over here, throw toward the center of the kata. I'd like to take about a 10-minute break, get a drink, relax a little bit, and then we're going to go on. We have 3 punches and 2 kicks to work for, and then we'll go for lunch. But right now, I'd just like to take a 10-minute break so you can sort of review what you want.
Y'all want to settle it? There's some on the floor over there. And we recycle.
Kicks. I don't have corners for
Okay, next section. Punches and kicks. Attacks from a distance, the book refers to. First one involves a very classic judo throw, Asonicari. And there's a point on this that you have to be really careful, because there are knee injuries possible and all that. When you're stepping through, you have to step through all the way and come sweep out there. I'm saying this because this actually happened to me. I've got a knee brace on right now because somebody did an Asonicari on me and came in like that. Just through the knee. It didn't hurt much at the time it happened, but I knew by the next day it was going to be shot. So when you're doing this, there are 2 Asonicaris in this kata, in the whole Goshin Jitsu kata. On both of them, make very sure that you're all the way back here and that you sweep out like that. First, the again, you're going to be relying on Uke's reaction to something you do on this. The first is going to be just a slashing punch. Boom. Boom. So it has very definite steps in it. Boom. Boom. You want to plant him on this shoulder. Normally you're going to just be hitting him on the face and then doing this, but you want to plant him on the shoulder, step through and swing. Now, I don't pretend to be an expert on Asonicari. Bill can tell you the real proper way. Mr. Williams can tell you the proper way. The things I do know about it is point the toe, and here you're going to be sweeping from a hip motion. So I'm sweeping the mat. One other way that you can hurt your uke is kicking. So I want to sweep. Basic steps in this again. 1, 2, 3, get to his outer shoulder, and then sweep. Okay, let's try it. We've been, that we've been talking about.
This is an FYI.
Yeah, this is an FYI. The way this punch can very often occur is a semi-roundhouse, like that. Now, he is going to step in and raise his hand like this. I'm going to be the uke on this. Now, he's in really good position to complete the technique. This is going to be an alternative to what most of us have been doing, which is stepping back and then in again. This one is going to step in with the left foot. And then sweep. This is an FYI. I don't want to practice it right now. I want to move on to the next.
But if you step in and don't put the arm up,
Yeah.
and he
Guess
hooks,
what happens?
you get clocked.
Yeah.
So the arm being up is an important block.
Okay.
Not part of the Kata, it's just for your information.
Okay, this next one is an uppercut. The important thing about this is when you're doing the uppercut, you're trying to focus at a point right about here, not way up above. And what you're going to do as Tories is you're simply going to follow this motion. You're going to step back, follow the motion. So, and the Aikido folks will recognize something very much akin to Oshi Tayoshi here. This is another case where Uke does not want to get into a fight with this, wants to go with the thing, he'll get hurt if he doesn't. This is also a throwing case, so I want to split up again so we have 4 and 4. Let's turn.
punch, he's just absorbing the punch. He's
Just going
absorbs
with
the
it.
motion of the whole body drop that Uke's given him. And just touches his hands, and his hands go up to the air with the strike. He just absorbs the motion. Just like that.
So you're going, this is going to come up again. I'm going back, and then I'm going in. For the Aikido folks, back, in. Where have you Aikido folks seen that one before? Formally, I have seen this done formally with an added bit. I don't think it's as strong as what we just did. But what I've seen occasionally is turn the arm over like this and then step. I don't think that's as strong because you tend to be out of the line by the time you step. If you can turn it over and get right into Uke's ear, push that elbow into Uke's ear, it will work. But what I am suggesting that we do right now is just a single motion. Like that, so you do the turnover as you're coming forward.
Feel free to pause at the top and get to
Yes.
control and see what's going
Yes. Yes, very
on. Don't
important.
rush through it.
Don't rush through this. It doesn't do any good if if you rush, you'll miss something. Footwork is very, very important. Footwork is 99% of this. Any questions? Okay, let's have 4 groups here, 4 groups there for the seminars. This is a circle. This is a completion of a circle. You want to look out for these things. There's circles and going back and forward. My body center is going back and forward. Okay, is everybody seems to have picked this up pretty well.
Hey.
When I get an Uke back.
Now, we have a little minor discussion over here. What do you step back with?
Yeah.
What are you stepping back with originally?
I'm stepping back left originally.
Okay, can you say it one more time? Left, left,
Yes. Yes, sir.
left, left.
Yeah, left. Okay, the next one is going to be this sort of a thing. It's going to be a left jab. A little bit further this way. So. And those guys. This is, again, for the Aikido folks, this is a very Aikido thing. Straight out of our walk. Now, what do we do about this? Well, we punch him in the kidneys, for one. Then, we go and choke him. And then we throw him away. Okay, chokes. If you've got a guy who's taller than you, you want to be really careful not to get out here on the trachea, but get it in the crook of the arm. This way you won't crush the trachea, but if you get here, you can do some real damage. You can kill somebody. Or one of us will go get a pocket knife and do a tracheotomy. Not pleasant.
No, we'll call Todd and do it.
Oh, we've got Todd here.
Have a scalpel.
Yeah. So, the whole thing. throw him away. When he taps out, as soon as this lock, this choke is affected, okay, and leans back a little bit, tap out, any way you can, or just say tap tap, throw him away.
Are you stepping across the throwaway, or do you stay to the same side?
I'm staying to the same side. One more time. Just boom.
Are you pushing or pulling? Pushing it down?
No, I'm not.
You're
When?
just pulling him off balance and letting him fall on himself.
I'm pulling. Let's go. Yeah, this one. Boom. Boom.
Just stepping on him.
I'm just stepping back.
He's losing his balance because it's
Yeah, well, he's in a choke and he's back like this.
on his heels.
Okay. Questions? Let's try.
Go back to
That's one. Now come to two kicks. The first one is just a straight kick and a straight push. Now there's a very subtle thing here. If he kicks and I initially start to push, he can hop backwards. However, if my first motion is this way, he then has to fall backwards because his first hop is going to be forwards. His center of gravity, then it's back like this, and then you push it and he goes down. Mrs. Miyake, when she taught this clinic, really strongly emphasized that the first motion is back, don't forward. Is this. So this is all there is to it. It's a rather nasty backfall, incidentally, so be prepared for that.
Can be nasty.
Well, everything's over there, and everything's over there. So it's just back, and when he starts to hop, it's forward. That's all there is to it. When you are stepping back to avoid, there's a frequent problem that people have is they step to the side. You step straight back on this one. This is the one time that you don't really get off the line. Well, actually 2 times. We have one more time coming up later on where you don't get off the line. But this time you just go straight back. And that's all you really need to do. Try it.
Okay.
The last technique without, other than weapons, involves a side kick. So what he's going to try to do is kick my knee right here. Now, the karate folks obviously are very skilled at this. Well, we don't like to stand in front and take a lot of punishment on this, so we step out of the way. That's the first thing. The second item is I want to cause him an unbalance or an off balance. Since he does it, I hit him there. Now, all I'm doing on this is I'm just blocking that, I'm just touching his leg. I'm not scooping it or any of this stuff, I'm just touching it. And placing his foot someplace where his brain, other than where his brain has said that foot is going to land. And then going to complete the thing with something somebody we all recognize, Ushiroate. Time for this side. All I have to do is just give him a little tap on the shoulders. He's gotten like this, gets tapped on the shoulders, he falls down. Looks fairly straightforward. The timing on it is a little bit trickier. It's certainly trickier than the last kick. Are there any questions about this? Want to see it one more time? Okay, let's try it.
I say for a little bit later. Did you what
Do service stakes.
did
Yeah.
service snake prepared?
Yeah, then we had to go out and fall.
Yeah.
We have 9 more techniques, katachi, in this kata. These are all weapons techniques, but they all really involve things that we've seen already. We have 3 knives, 3 clubs, and 3 gun techniques. Well, I'll have some comments about the gun thing when we get there. The knife technique, or the knife techniques are, you've seen all this stuff this morning in various other forms. Uke's attack on this is Uke is going to come up close and he's going to attempt to pull out a knife like that by pulling his gi or his jacket back like this with his left hand. That is going to expose his left elbow, which you'll hit. Notice that even if he gets the knife out and nothing else happens, he's not able to do very much with that knife at this point. He's able to do less when that happens. And then you remember the very second technique was that elevator drop again. The first 2 knife techniques that we're doing this afternoon all involve left hand doing something, right hand doing something. Yeah. Or left hand, right hand, or right hand, left hand. Boom, boom. This sort of motion. Okay, we have a pile of knives over here. Now these are rubber knives, so you can stick somebody. If you poke somebody in the eye, yes, they will cause damage. So be careful. If you fall on this, it won't hurt too much. Probably won't penetrate. but you'll still have a nice bruise there in the morning. What I recommend for uke on this is that he actually get the knife out of his gi before he falls. No, really, sometimes some people just leave it in the gi and do this and then go away. Well, that knife is in there when it falls, it gets bruised. If you're playing with a wooden knife, that can be real sore. Okay, we have knives over there. One knife for every pair, please. Straight stab. And I've got the knife. I've got him in this really weird arm lock. Remember this monkey Gatami arm lock? We'll go anywhere I want. I've got the knife. That's very important on this. You take the knife. So everybody see what happens. We'll do it very slowly now. Once again, I'm relying on his reaction to allow me to get the arm bar. As he comes forward, I've got the arm bar. If he doesn't react to this, if you don't get this reaction, look what happens. Oops. I now have to deal with something else. I may be okay, but there again, he's got a free hand, he's still got good posture, good balance, and all that. So you have to make sure that you elicit the reaction. Getting his head back. Okay, let's try. Straight stab. Good, take the knife. Take the knife. Blade down, Joseph. Blade down. Both of you guys. Okay, this next one is we're going to show version for people who have had falls, and then we're going to do the version for people who haven't had falls. Now this, the strike of this, notice how he's got the blade on this time. This is something of a cheat, but one of our Marine Corps types told us this was the way he was taught to attack people anyway, whatever that means. I wouldn't know. But he is going to slash, it's going to be sort of a downward diagonal slash. Again, the knife. There are a number of ways of doing this Kudagaishi. As far as I can tell, I've seen people do it a number of ways. Dr. Popple does it slightly differently. Dr. Popple will go back like this, and take that. And either way works. Now for the ones who have not done this, have not done the fall, namely over there, what you do is a sit down. Just to sit down like that, just sit backwards. If you are not comfortable with Kudagaishi, I know some people aren't, sit down.
When you do that, you need to do it slowly.
Yes.
If you do the technique fast, you can't sit down as fast as you can fall. So if you can't fall and you go fast, you're going to destroy your wrist.
Yeah, guarantee that any Tori in here can beat any uke to the ground if that uke is sitting down. If he wants to. So you have to do this slowly. Otherwise, you're going to have broken wrist, broken arm. Not pleasant. Yes, sir.
Can you demonstrate how you take the knife away the way your hands do your quantity?
Okay. Yeah, come underneath. Now you see I'm away from the blade. This is the cheat. Break his arm like this. Come on around and see us. I've thrown him. Come underneath to get this. And that falls out pretty quickly. He doesn't want to hang on to it at this point. He's in a world of hurt at this point. Everybody see that? Okay,
Tim.
really careful. Yes, we have been told to turn 90 degrees.
Just for the take, no, this way for the takedown, so I can see the escape.
Escape.
Just opposite of the way you just did it, so I can see the hand motion.
Be very careful on this. As you might imagine, this is a rough fall for people. Somebody like Raja can do it about 100 times without noticing. However, most of us hurt after about 5. That's right. Okay, this next set, you are not using a rubber club. This is with clubs. These things are PVC pipes. They're meant to represent baseball bats, but they will hurt you. So we have to play very, very carefully on this. When you're moving around the mat, when you get them, I'd like you to walk with a club underneath your arm, underneath your elbow, underneath your armpit, like this, so nobody gets hurt. Hey. Everybody very clear on this. This is a real weapon. We're too short on clubs, so there are a pair of Balkans. And believe me, those will hurt. On these techniques, you're playing a lot closer on some of them. So you want to go very, very slowly. And this is a safety issue. Nobody's timing in here is good enough for full speed attacks in here. Not even mine. First one is, again, the Asonicari. You've seen this throw this morning. It's the club. Part 1 of this. We're starting close. We're starting much too close for anything. So Uke is going to try to step back and raise the club at the same time. That's your key to be moving in. gonna stop anything, any useful strike right here. It also plants him on his right leg. This means that the Asonicari you're going to do, you have to do very carefully, because that's the leg you're gonna sweep. He's planted on it. Next thing is exactly what you did this morning. For safety's sake, actually for practice sake, take the club away from him so it isn't flailing around as he gets up. You've got it. You want to do this anyway, but make sure you do it in here so you have control of the club and you can keep it where nobody gets hurt. Okay, we've got clubs over there. Of this. Yep. This is what really happens. There's no hesitation. He just goes for the face and then he just rotates him around that leg. Notice he isn't sweeping him anymore. There's no niceties about it. He's just throwing him over that leg as he goes backwards. This is what you would actually do if you were confronted in this situation in a real fight.
Could you show this one?
Okay, can you turn around and show it so that... There's several different directions.
Change direction. Change direction.
Hit it. Okay, now turn. So. Okay. Technique is the baseball bat swing. Now, on this one, I want to move straight back. I don't want to move back and aside. I'll be too far out of the way. I want to move back and in. And I want to start coming in just as soon as that club passes. Now this is probably the most dangerous technique we're going to do today. So I want everybody to be really slow and careful on this. We don't want anybody clocked. Because he really is, if he's a good uke, he is really trying to clock you. Just slowly show him where you're aiming. Boom. Right on the temple. Doesn't matter whether it's a side strike or anything. Okay, you can even do it in a side strike. Move the same way. And as soon as that club passes, you move in and take it with Gyaku Gamyata for the Aikido folks. Now the actual attack that we want that is shown in the books is something like this. It's sort of a downward diagonal slash. Doesn't matter. You want to end up on your left side, case. Doesn't matter whether it's that or whether it's that. Work the same. But for our purposes, it's going to be this. Sit down. Now this involved a fair amount of foot motion and a fair amount of swinging, so again we want the 4 and 4 throwing toward the middle so nobody gets hurt. Now, after this club is passed, guess what the next thing is going to be? No, it's gonna, here, he's going to try to bring it back like this. That's why the timing on this is such that you have to get in there really fast. So it's boom, boom. Or the other. So go real slow on this. Let's give it a try. Back, there's no way that I can get in there. So if he is striking overhead, I have to step in, offline and in on the initial technique. Because if I step back, there's no way that I can get in here without getting hurt. So I have to step in, and then it works the same way. A number of other possibilities that you can do.
There's an interesting way to think about this, and that is that when I'm coming from the side, and he steps back, he's stepping to where we'll be offline. See, now he's offline with the club. If I come overhead, he needs to strike, he needs to step offline. The difference is in the first case, he's stepping toward the club where it will be offline after I finish the swing. If that makes sense.
Okay, this last club technique, you saw the overhead what happened if he struck overhead and I stepped back. Suppose he tries to stab me. This is the next technique. We have two ways of doing it. The way that the Aikido folks like to do it, and which is a little bit less confrontational, let's say. We don't meet force with force. Are you okay
Yes.
on this? The way the Aikido folks like to do it is throw them down the line. Now, for the formal judo kata folks, we do the same thing, but they throw over there. Send him back from where he came. Mrs. Miyake demonstrated that when she taught this at the clinic, back that way. That means, however, that I am assuming that at this point, he's stopping pulling back. Otherwise, I'm blocking his force. And if he keeps coming, and I try to block his force, this happens. He runs into me. However, if I just get out of the way, send him on his way. So that's what I'd like to do. Again, there's a good deal of throwing here, so we'll have 4 and 4. There are a number of stages of this. First one, block with right hand. 2, 3, and then curl. Go the other way. 1, 2, 3. Notice that I'm curling as I throw. It's a Mayatoshi type throw. But this curl is really important. This is the thing that makes the throw. If I don't do that, he may or may not go, or he may just stagger out of it. Again, block with a step ball. Block. Block. Lead. Throw. Questions? 4 and 4, throw toward the middle, please. Not here, here. No. If I stay up here in the middle or here, I don't have nearly as much leverage as I have down here. Everybody see this? This hand down close to the base. That'll really help and really make the throw a lot stronger. Okay, the last section that we're going to do is the really weird one. Nobody, at least in 1990s America, does the following.
Hands up.
I haven't heard of anybody, any robbers, even the dumbest ones, walking up to somebody and putting the gun right up against their belly.
Walking into the
And saying hands up.
doing like this.
Yes, pretty much. So what is this whole business about? Let's do all 3 of them.
Hands up. Hands up. Hands up.
Now, it may be on the 3rd one, there may be some basis for practicality. Not likely. First of all, does any of the men here carry their wallets here on this pocket here?
Not this good.
Not in this bag. You do? Okay, well then you better pay attention. What all of these play for is Uke's being distracted by going and looking for the goodies. The first 2 in this pocket. The final one is, yes, in this hip pocket, where most of us do. Now, I have to wait on this one to know that this is, in fact, that's what he's looking for. Because if I don't wait, look what happens. You know the thing. Okay, I'll do it to you. Hands up. As soon as he moves, I just had my finger in his back. He didn't wait to find out where my other hand was. So, on this 3rd one, turn around. He has to wait until he feels this, and then he can do that. There are a few practical points from self-defense, particularly for the women. You're in a parking lot, some guy comes up, says, "Okay, babe, in the car." Now this is a real situation. The one thing you don't want to ever let yourself do is get transported from the scene. If he's going to shoot you, you want him to have to shoot you right there in public, out there in the parking lot where he can't, where his chances of getting away are a lot slimmer. Yes, sir.
The victim's chances of surviving are not there.
Yes. So, for the women, or for anybody who is being kidnapped or told, okay, drive, whatever, we looked at what the equivalent of fishing in the pocket for goodies would be. And the best that we could come up with is if I come up and say, okay, hands up. His eyes, for just an instant, flipped somewhere else. You look over to the side as he raised his hands. He went, and one's natural reaction is to, oh, what's he looking at? Somebody coming up. And that's the instant that you have to move. Now, the timing on that is probably a little bit too tight for what we're doing today. We'll have guns flying all over the place or pieces of wood flying all over the place. We don't want to do that, so we're simply going to do according to the Kata. And that is, on the first of these, it's up here, he's distracted, 1, 2. And then the follow, normally, the way this was taught originally was there's no follow-up, but you have to get back to distance. Because what's his next move, he's going to try to take it. He's going to try to take that thing back. Means you're probably going to have to shoot the gun. Because if he gets it back, he's certainly going to shoot you. The second one is very similar, except that the gun is not pointed or is not touching. So I have to do an air search. Now I go straight back on him. Notice the muzzle of the gun is always, once I've got it out here, it's never pointed at me. It's pointed at him. And he gets pistol whipped with his own gun. That forces him back, again gives you time to get back. Yep. What's up? So I'd like to do these two together because they're really very similar in their execution. The first one is right hand into left hand, take it out. Take it out by the barrel. We have nice wooden, long wooden barrels here. Ukes. Don't try to hold on too tight here in this. Notice we haven't cut a finger guard for you. That's the best we can do to protect your fingers. Don't get locked around here when this starts moving. That gets mighty sore. Just have it out here. When it goes, it goes. On the second one, we have a slightly different problem. Sweep and step in. Any questions on this? Okay, let's try. We have piles of guns over there. Somebody can, oh, Hubble's got to do whatever it's going to do. On this first, yeah, he's packing wood. On this first one, if you turn your body, as you move your hand, you're increasing your chance of getting shot. So this is one of those few times when you want to do as little turning of the center as possible. This is contrary to what all the Aikido guys, what we've been telling them for just about forever. Keep your hands, I try to keep my body as straight as I can on this. Whereas if I move, I may or may not be out of the way. But that gun is going to go off.
When you're pulling on it, when
Yes.
you can trigger it.
Yes. When I'm pulling on it, bang, it's going off. And if I'm turning my body with it, bang, it may or may not miss me. So what I want to do is side, get it to the side with a sweep as much as possible. The final kata is again a surprise in the back. Hands up. Again, I have to wait for this and strip. And it's really remarkable that the timing on this isn't quite as tight as it is on the others. Because as I turn, I brush that out of the way. Gun falls, punch it, then pick it up. The situation on this can be a little bit different, particularly in the kidnapping situation. We were just talking about the 3 women in California. Thing. Okay, get in the car. Come on, get in the car. You know this is not a robbery situation, this is a kidnapping thing. You have to judge how close the guy is, but nonetheless, better make him come in to the point where you know where he is, either by shoving you or whatever. Here's another thing. I'm not paying attention. I don't know where his second hand is. He says get in the car or something. Get in the car. I look around like that. What does he do? Get in the car. What's the first reaction? Somebody says get in the car. You say, what, me? And so at that point, he's distracted. And that's when you can move.
The advantage you can have in this situation is they're going to do something bad to you, they just don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it.
They're probably going to say, get in the car, get in the car.
What?
Get in the car.
And you've got it. Or at least you've bought an instant and hopefully gotten the gun.
He may not want to shoot you here, but I'll shoot him here.
Yeah, I don't have any qualms about shooting somebody who's trying to kill me. Okay, let's try this again real slowly. One more time so that you can see. As he reaches for the goodies. Swing. Have we seen this before? Well, I don't want to be around it any, so I get out of here. But I've got the gun now and pointed at it. Let's try it. I've got a street version of this. It was fine, except that it did not control the direction of the gun. And at one point, it was pointed right up under Tori's rib cage, right here. And if it goes off at that point, that's it. End of story. You have to control the direction that the gun is pointed. Okay, another couple of minutes on this. And then we have one more surprise. The surprise that I promised is that we have an offer to make. Anybody who will get out there and demonstrate all 21 of these, and we will give you the hint on what comes next if you say hint or something like that. We'll get their feedback.
You got the all 21 in order.
Yep. Well, we will tell, we'll let them know what. Oh, we're not going to tell them the order. Okay, we're not going to tell you the order.
It's not a big deal. You don't have to do it in order, just do all 21.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to be in order.
Any takers?
Each one of that.
We don't have any of that.
Right off.